What elements do lipids contain? That's right. Carbon is number one. Hydrogen and oxygen. Do lipids contain other things? Sure, they do. Some lipids contain phosphorus, for instance, and nitrogen, etc. But these three are the things that all lipids contain, right? And mainly what? What are the two that are the main components? Carbon and hydrogen. That's not part of the question, though. So if they put carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, it's right. Anything else is wrong. Moving on. Many lipids are formed by the attachment of three what? Fatty acids to glycerol. Fatty acids to glycerol. Not hydroxyl groups to glycerol, not cholesterols, not three cholesterols, not fatty acids to carboxyl groups. Those three are wrong. Yes, sir.
What do I put if they circle three answers?
It's wrong. There's only one answer. Anything other than A is wrong. Mark it wrong, please. It's okay. It's wrong. Anything other than one answer, A, all the other is wrong. They don't know. Label the phospholipids either being saturated or unsaturated. Which one is the one on the left here? Saturated. Saturated is correct. And the other one is? If a lipid molecule contains at least one, what? Say, what'd someone say?
She said twist or kink.
Well, that's true, but that's not the consequence. That's a consequence of a double bond. Double bond is the answer. At least one double bond. That causes a kink or twist, but that's not what makes it unsaturated. Label the parts of the lipid below. I don't know. Label the parts of the below lipid molecule. The lipid molecule below, right? That's what it should have said. This is a saturated. Is this saturated or unsaturated lipid? It is saturated. Is correct. What would be here? This is only part of this lipid. This would be the glycerol. This over here is a fatty acid.
If they got the top part right and then the bottom part is still wrong.
That's right. It's either right or wrong. This would make it right. Correct? Hey, this is the way your end of course exam is going to be. You have to understand that. When you're on your end of course exam, it's either all right or all wrong. It's not partial. They're not going to give you partial points. So let's be clear on that. Lipids are found in what? Well, that's correct. It is C. If they wrote C, mark it right. If they wrote all four, mark it right. Because the answer is all four. But I understand someone putting C. C is correct. But any other combination is wrong. There are lipids in bread, there's lipids in chocolate, and there's lipids in meat. Give an example of unsaturated lipid in your diet. Olive oil or corn oil is correct. Any other answers? Say that. I can't hear you. Broccoli is not an oil. Yeah? Or a lipid, huh? Butter is saturated. It says unsaturated, so butter would be wrong.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Somebody put fat. Beef fat.
Beef fat is saturated. That's wrong. Animal fat, we're going to assume it's saturated. There are unsaturated fats in animal fat as well, but mostly saturated. Huh? I said again, butter is a saturated fat. All right, give an example of a saturated lipid in your diet. Well, butter. That's right, an animal fat.
Pork.
Any animal. I don't care if they said pork, chicken, all that. Yeah,
Or what if they just put fat?
not good. Because fats can be unsaturated or saturated. Why are lipids waterproof? In quotation marks. They're non-polar. You might also put, they might also put what? Hydrophobic. Very good. Both are correct. Either one. Either one. I don't care which one you put up. Yeah, go ahead.
What if they put is half hydrophobic and half
That's correct, ain't it? Cause the tail and the.
No, they hold on. The question is about lipids in general, and with the question that they're talking about, they were talking about what? Phospholipids. Most lipids are not. Triglycerides are not half and half. Triglycerides are 100% hydrophobic. They are fat. Give an example that illustrates lipids being waterproof. Go ahead, give me an example.
I put oil and water.
Oil and water, okay, I'll accept it.
What if you do a picture? But I don't know if the picture supposed to be.
If you don't know what it is, mark it wrong. Next. Acetone? No, I don't know. I understand that. Yeah. Skin doesn't dissolve in water. That's good.
That's nasty.
Yeah.
Put a picture of someone drinking water.
Okay, that's acceptable. The fact that you can drink it and it doesn't melt you, the fact that you can swim in it, it doesn't melt you, those are examples that lipids are waterproof. Okay. I can accept that.
Oh, what if somebody said a seal?
A what?
A seal.
Or the blubber.
The animal.
The animal seal?
Blubber.
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay, I'll accept it, but I think I know what they mean, but you have to understand, on the state exam, they're not going to accept, I think I know what this is. I'll accept it for this quiz. Yeah?
What they say long chains of carbon are hydrophobic.
That's a good one. That's fine. Long chains of carbon are hydrophobic is fine.
Lipids cannot go through the digestion.
Well, I take that back. That's not good, because even though that's true, I just thought about it. It says, give an example that illustrates. Right? So look at the question. Give an example that illustrates. You can't, that doesn't really illustrate it. So a micelle would be perfect. Detergent, dissolving fats, oil stains not coming out of your shirt, grease not washing off with just water, the fact that you need soap to wash grease off your hands. These are all examples of fats, of how fats are, yeah?
This would be wrong, right?
Lipids are a great source of water.
Lipids are a great source of water. I understand what they mean by that, because we talked about the fact that, as you digest lipids, as you take the energy out of lipids, right? As you do cellular respiration, what do you produce?
It's no good.
All right, listen, because this is going to be on the test. That particular answer, even though it's wrong, is going to be on the test. So the example that we said in the study guide were camels. And now the camel's humps are actually fat. But that helps the camel make water, because as the camel digests the fats in the humps, they're producing water in their body, because that's a byproduct of cellular respiration. We said that. So that's where they were going with that. But that's not an example of fats being waterproof. Huh? Yeah, it's not an example of lipids being waterproof. That doesn't explain why lipids are waterproof. All right, put the total number of checks over 11. Total number of checks over 11. Go collect them quickly so we can move on, and we'll go ahead and finish carbohydrates today then. Looks like we have enough time. The back. Sorry. I guess we're not doing that. All right. Label the Label the polar and nonpolar ends. It's what is this here? Polar. Also known as what? Hydrophilic. And the tails are nonpolar and hydrophobic. Those are the only possible answers. So, and all they had to do is the tails were nonpolar and the heads were polar. That's all they needed to do for that answer. What are the two main functions of lipids in humans? Energy, storage.
It say build antibiotic strands.
And I get that. Steroids, I think they meant build anabolic steroids building, but
What about muscle?
I mean, as hormones, I guess, and I'll accept that one as an example of hormones. But honestly, cell membranes, another big one. Say that.
Regulate molecules.
That's right. Hormones or regulate molecules. Regulate, it's actually regulate processes, right? Anything else? Huh? Say again. Structural components is fine.
They put breakdown of antibiotic strands.
Yeah, anabolic and catabolic steroids would be part of that hormone or regulating cellular body processes. Steroids, fat lipids do that. Cell membranes is a big one. Structural components is okay. One of the big ones obviously is energy. Energy being the biggest. Yeah.
If they put number 12, they put head and tail.
That's wrong. That's wrong. We're moving on. Hold on, one at a time.
Muscle growth is part of steroids, right?
What if they still store fat?
No. Yeah.
Oh, they say installation.
What?
Installation.
I put insulin.
Insulin. Insulin's a protein. So that's wrong. But I know where you're going with that. I'm glad you're thinking in that direction, but you need to focus more on detail.
But it says stored lipids provide insulation.
Okay, this is not a debate. I'm telling you what's right, what's wrong. Insulin is a protein, not a fat, not a lipid.
She said
Yeah.
insulator.
Oh, insulator. Yes, it is. Insulation's a good one. Insulation is a good one. It can be any one of those, yeah? Hormones, cell membranes, structural components, regulation processes in the body, yeah? I can't hear. You guys are giggling and talking in the back. Please, yeah? No. Next?
To conduct heat, you right?
No. The opposite is true. It doesn't conduct heat. It protects against the conduction of heat. All right, so any of those are right. Moving on then. Lipids include triglycerides, fats, phospholipids, waxes. One of the key parts that make up a lipid is glycerol, a type of alcohol. The alcohol is recognizable by its hydroxyl groups. You see the hydroxyl? There's glycerol right there. They drew it for you. Draw a box around each hydroxyl group. So that's easy to do. If they did this, it's right. So 1 box, 2 box, 3 box. Right? So the hydroxyl, you need a hydroxyl group to do dehydration synthesis. You need an OH and another H to form H2O. So these are the 3 active parts of this glycerol molecule. The molecular formula of glycerol is what? C what? C3, H8, O3. Somebody was like, how am I supposed to know that? You should have saw this girl's face when I said, yeah, you should know. I was like, what? Why can't you just say C3H, what was it?
8.
O, O3. All you had to do was count. Another key component of lipids is a fatty acid. Fatty acid is recognizable because of what? A carboxyl group. That's C double bond O OH. This whole thing is a carboxyl group. Are we all good with that?
Yeah.
All right. Carproic acid, butyric acid, lauric acid. 3 different fatty acids. What's the difference here? What's the difference between the 3?
More carbon.
What's the difference between these 3 fatty acids? They get longer. They're all saturated. The only question is how long they are. All right. Draw a box around the carboxyl group of each fatty acid. This should be pretty easy since they gave you the carboxyl group there. Molecular formula butyric acid is somebody? C4. Hold on, let me zoom in so I can write clearly. C4H what? O2. The next carproic. Uh-huh. Go ahead. And the last one? So the bottom line is that these fatty acids, there's a lot of what? What is there mostly here? Carbon and hydrogen. Let's remember that. Mostly hydrogen, carbon's next. Oxygen is pretty stable, no matter how long the fatty acid. Yeah? So it's wrong. So it's either all right or all wrong, man. That's it. That's all I can do. Mark how many checks out of 15. How many checks out of 15? Put that number in the front. We're done. Let's move on.